Dealing with the aftermath of a civilian death at the hands of law enforcement is not new to the city of Minneapolis. After George Floyd's murder more than 5 years ago, the Twin Cities erupted in protests that turned violent. Now, so far, vigils and protests this week have not reached that level. Joining us with more is Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara. Thanks for taking the time.
Sure.
I'm curious here. What was the role of the MPD the day of the shooting? Did you have any idea this action was taking place?
We had no idea. I got a text message and I heard on the radio that there were shots fired, possibly involving federal law enforcement. And I immediately responded with other officers directly to the scene. And so some of our officers assisted as CPR and first aid was being provided to the woman who died. They went to the hospital with her and stayed there with her. And the other officers, including myself, then tried to establish, what happened, some sense of what happened, and secure a crime scene so that evidence could be preserved.
What's the rules for the MPD in a sanctuary city?
Well, obviously we don't participate in immigration enforcement at all. We don't ask people about their immigration status. We don't turn people over. We don't do any of those things. Local police don't have that authority to enforce immigration law in our country. That's not how this works. But we do work with federal law enforcement for other things, to go after violent criminals, to go after gang members, people smuggling drugs, that kind of thing.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the training, if we could, for just a moment. Mm-hmm. ICE agents obviously received similar training to what your folks receive, I would think, right?
I would not say that.
You would not say that.
Certainly in Minnesota, I think probably has some of the highest standards to be a police officer in the country. And it's my understanding that the training that at least new ICE agents are receiving today is substantially less than even what they had been getting until this past year. That's my understanding.
When you look at some of the videos, say even of some of the protests at the Whipple building mm-hmm. after the shooting, the agents are getting up right into the face of protesters and spraying them with some sort of a chemical. I mean, literally within inches. What does that tell you?
I mean, it looks crazy to me. A lot of the things that we see happening, it's like policing 101. At best, these are poor tactics that are unsafe. They are not, they don't appear to be taking measures both to protect their own safety, but also to try and de-escalate these situations.
There will be protests tomorrow, Saturday. One of the biggest ones will be at Powderhorn Park. Could you give us some idea of what you would recommend the protesters to how to conduct themselves?
Yeah, there's a number of protests happening and marches happening tomorrow for sure, and not just in Minneapolis, around the metro and around the country. The number one thing I'd ask, I've been asking for our elected officials to say the same, is just please do everything possible to remain peaceful. We want to ensure that people are able to exercise their First Amendment rights, but we just need folks to be able to do that safely and lawfully. We've had plenty of marches, including tonight. There were 2 marches near the site where this happened. Everything at the site is peaceful. There's police officers there interacting with people from the community. There's been no issues whatsoever.
I'm going to go back to training here for just a second, if I could. I'm wondering, when you saw the videos, as a cop who's been in the business now for some 25 years, what did you see in those videos, especially the video from the perspective, evidently, it's been authenticated, the perspective of the actual ICE agent with a cell phone in one hand and a gun in another?
Yeah. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I think it's crazy that, you're on a stop holding a cell phone like that. For many years, for decades in this country, police training, police policy has been to try and minimize risk to the officer. You do traffic stops, you approach them in a certain way, you try and minimize the risk to the officer as well as to everyone in the community.
Do you have a clear picture of what the federal mission is?
I don't. I mean, I think a lot of people around the country see the same things that we see here. And and really at best are saying the same things. They're just questioning, the methods that are being taken to go about conducting federal law enforcement.
Got a question here for you, too. Now, the governor has the National Guard on standby.
Yes.
What's the coordination between the Guard and MPD and other law enforcement agencies, if that were to be, if they would have been called into action?
Well, I would say Minneapolis has probably more experience with this than they would prefer to, but I'm thankful that the Guard is on standby like this, because there certainly is potential, that an emergency can escalate very, very quickly, and certainly just to ensure everyone's safety, the safety of the city, the safety of the community. I'm thankful that the Guard is available. We have direct communication with leadership in the Minnesota National Guard, and I feel very confident and comfortable that if we needed them, they would perform a mission directly in support of what we need, which would be securing critical infrastructure, the federal court facilities like that. If we needed traffic control for whatever reason, certain areas, they would help like that. I feel very, very confident with the Minnesota National Guard if we need them.
I got a last question for you. It was, sadly, you were prescient, just not more than a couple days before the shooting. The day before, you had said publicly you were worried about someone getting shot and killed. I mean, literally. So tell me how you're feeling right now in terms of moving forward.
Well, I'm particularly scared that something else could happen, that it just seems like there's so many people that want things to continue to escalate. I'm worried that there might be people on both sides, both extremes, that want things to escalate here. And, when I've said many, many times, including the day before, I was afraid of a tragedy, I would hope everyone could recognize that the loss of a human life is a tragedy. And in that situation, no one wins. I don't know why we're not trying to minimize the risk of that happening, because it doesn't seem like we're trying to minimize the risk of that happening again.
Really appreciate you coming over. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Well, we are going to switch out guests right now, and we're going to be back for a conversation with a legal expert. Stick around.
We continue the conversation on the legal standard for use of deadly force by law enforcement. Shannon Prince is an attorney based in Atlanta, followed cases nationwide, one of the many experts that we talked with following George Floyd's murder.